Hey everybody, it's Mike Peasall, pastor at Gateway Christian Center here in Goodlettsville, Tennessee. Today is Wednesday, December the 17th, and this is Mike's Midweek message. It's hard to believe that 1 week from today is Christmas Eve. If you're like me, you just can't believe the year has gone by this fast, and then we're already at Christmas time, but I have a lot of kids and grandkids who are very excited about this. When I first thought about my midweek message today, honestly, I was thinking about talking about the topic of hell. For those of you who don't know, some things have been said about that recently. But then I felt like, a lot of people have kind of addressed that. Is there a hell? Is there not a hell? Is it really eternal? Here's all I'll say about that. We have such a limited understanding of what the holiness of God is really all about. I mean, we know on some levels. It's just like with His love and His mercy. We don't understand the depths of His holiness. We don't understand the depths of His mercy. So for us to begin to try to decide, well, I think the character of God would lend to this, or I think the character of God, while we want to know the character of God, we want to know the holiness of God, we want to know the mercy of God. I think it's so far beyond what we can comprehend that it's kind of hard for us to really wrap our mind around that whole topic. So, but what I decided to do instead actually came from a devotion that I did earlier this week, and it was about the gift of the Magi. Now, who are the Magi? Well, those are the wise men. Sometimes we call them the three kings. Number one, we don't know that there were three, and number two, they weren't kings; they were Magi. And well, what were the Magi? Well, if you remember back to the story of Daniel, the guy who got thrown in the lion's den. He comes out of that. The king, begins to respect him more and more and more, and puts him in charge of a group of guys that would they would look to the stars, they would look to history, they were just the wise guys of the day, and Daniel was the one who really impacted that group of men and probably women, and these are the very people that eventually come searching for the Christ child. They're following the star. If you know the story, the Magi, they come, they're following the star, they show up at Herod's palace because they figure, well, Herod will know where the new king to be has been born, but of course Herod doesn't. This is a surprise to Herod. He's pretty threatened by this whole thing. He wants the Magi to go find this newborn king and come back and tell him so that he can worship him, but he doesn't really want to worship him. He wants to eliminate his competition, and so the Magi, they end up going, they go to this place called Bethlehem, they follow the star. They are going to arrive probably 12 to 24 months after the O Holy Night that we sing about. So, hey, look, if you have wise men in your manger scene at your house, in your nativity scene, if you've got wise men, that's fine. Just understand they weren't there the same night as the shepherds. They came later than that. But they bring some gifts, and that's a lot of times we laugh about the gifts of the wise men, and I've even seen a meme recently, and it said if the wise men were women, then instead of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, they would have brought diapers, formula, and baby food. But why did the wise men bring the gifts that they had? Well, let's kind of look at that just for a second. Matthew chapter 2 and verses 1 through 11. Now, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, the wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, "Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him." When Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And assembling all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. They told him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for so it is written by the prophet, and you, O Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for from you shall come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod summoned the wise men secretly and ascertained from them at what time the star had appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word, and I too may come and worship him. After listening to the king, they went on their way, and behold, the star that they had seen when it rose went before them until it came to rest over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. And going into the house, not the stable anymore, and going into the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they fell down and they worshiped him. Then, opening their treasures, they offered him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. Okay, so what is the deal with gold, frankincense, and myrrh? Well, if you study those, you actually find out that they're very good gifts. Maybe not for a newborn baby, but they're number one. What they're going to do, they're going to help Mary and Joseph and Jesus in their flight to Egypt. They're gonna give them some substance to live on for that first few years because of the gold and all that. But here's the things that they represent. Gold represents royalty and kingship. Well, that's an appropriate gift for the newborn king. Frankincense, well, it symbolizes divinity and priesthood. It's used in many other religious ceremonies. So it makes it a pretty appropriate gift for somebody who is a priest, because Jesus is not only king, but he's high priest in the order of Melchizedek. And then myrrh, well, myrrh was to foreshadow the suffering of his death. Myrrh was part of the embalming process. It was part of the thing that was needed for after a person died. So it's an appropriate gift for somebody who is going to be a sacrifice. So those are very, very important gifts. And but what hit me this morning, or actually Monday morning in my devotion, was I just was thinking about, I don't know, maybe the Magi thought, hey, he's a king, so let's bring him gold. He's a priest, so let's bring him frankincense. He's going to be a sacrifice. Let's bring him myrrh. Maybe the gifts they brought weren't about the child. They were about themselves. They were about, what is the most valuable thing that I own? We hear that song at Christmas time, The Little Drummer Boy. And he says, all I have to give to you is my drum, is my playing, is my talent, is my ability. That's the best thing I have, and I want to give it to the Lord. So maybe part of the reason the Magi bring such odd gifts, we think, gold, frankincense, and myrrh, maybe it wasn't because of the baby. It was because that was the most valuable gift they had, and they wanted to give the most valuable thing they had to this newborn king, to this Messiah. So I guess that brings the question for you and for me. Do we give gifts according to what's going to impress somebody, or what's going to make them ooh and ah, or do we give gifts based on what is the most valuable thing I have to give to this person? Because it may not be a gift, it may be time, it may not be a financial blessing, it may be a pronounced blessing, it may be to speak into that person's life. The most valuable thing that you have and I have is what we want to give as gifts, especially during the holiday seasons, during the Christmas season, when God gave us the most valuable gift there ever was, his only begotten Son, Jesus Christ. Well, I hope that if you're going to be in the Goodlettsville area next Wednesday night and you don't have any place to be, at 5:00 here we're having our candlelight Christmas service. Christmas Eve service. We'd love for you to come and join us. It'll be a great time. We start at 5. We always are done by 6 because we realize what a busy day that is. And it'll also be online. You can go to our Gateway Christian Center Goodlettsville is our Facebook page. If you found this, you probably can find that as well. So I hope you have a great week. 1 week left to get ready. But just don't forget, the most important thing that we can give is ourselves. I hope you'll have a great week, and I'll see you next Wednesday.